Hello and welcome to the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. With 4 race starts, we're going to start with our Category 4 riders, then 3, 2 and 1. Our riders lined up in yellow, that is our Category 1 riders. In green, our Category 2. In blue, Category 3. And Category 4 in red.
Cadiz, Gonsolin, Hoyas, Kirchner. Push, push, push. The red chevrons across the screen as they continue to work. They are breaking not just the legs, but the souls and the hearts of those Category 3 riders behind him. Bjorn Andresen on his wheels. Popovic, Knudsen, Dahn, Thompson, Thiem, all there. Panizza, Noren too. Closing that gap down, not wanting to let it go, but Graves adamant he is going to keep pushing on. Well, whilst Category 1 and Category 2 fight it out on the foothills of the Heritage Climb, it's Category 3 leader who is now coming up to the polka dot banner, signifying the end of the Heritage Climb, and it's Nick Squillari. He's 20 seconds clear. Oh, Johan Noren's decided enough's enough and he's pushing on, picking up the pace on this Category 1 group. There's too many riders in here for Noren. He's not content to wait until the Canyon Oasis climb. He's going to push into it. Category 1 leaders at 32.7 kilometres. Category 2 leaders 33.5 kilometres. Category 3 leaders 38.5 kilometres. And Category 4, they are still the leaders on the road. Hassan Sultan is moving. He's moving at the moment in with Michael Knudsen and X100 because they are still on a charge to catch the leading group on the road. They are 30 plus seconds behind them. He comes up alongside the leaders in the Category 4 race and he pushes on. And look at that, he goes up and past them into the lead. This is a Category 4 race we are looking at here as Connell kicks hard. Neville Ross is coming. Who's going to get there by the line? It's 100 metres to go. There's the UCI battle. Connor is kicking. Neville Ross is coming. But Peter Connell is going to take the win in the Category 4 race.
So hello and welcome to the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. Let's give it an extra bit of gravel today here. And it's great to be back. It is great to be down in the studios. My name's Matt Payne. I'm in here alongside the person who's keeping the microphones warm and covering all of the action on the Sunday Race Club last week. The one and only
Emma Martin. Matt, just to remind you, this is e-cycling, not gravel.
It is. And do you know what? I love the fact that because MyWhoosh is the esports partner with UCI, that we are adding another discipline into the championships for the Worlds. Will it be on this course? You're going to have to wait to find out. Tell us about the course though, that we're using today, Emma.
Well, we're heading to Australia to the Wollongong course at 45 kilometres of racing, 704 metres of climbing, 3 Category 4 climbs. And for those of you who have spotted, it is laps. So we head through the city and we head to the Wollongong climb 3 times. But the 3rd time we don't drop back down into the city, with checkered flag is at the top of the Wollongong climb. Now, the Wollongong climb 1.9 kilometres in length, so it's reasonably short, an average gradient of 5.1%, but we go up, we drop down, we go up again. The first kicker, 10%. The second kicker, 12%. That's what faces our riders who are down in the start pens at the moment.
So we are going to kick off, as always, with our Category 4 riders, 5 minutes in front of Category 3, and then a 10-minute gap and a 5-minute gap to follow. In Category 4, we have our 3 teams. Level Racing with Dieter de Troyer, the Anzac Scott Francis in here, and Enrico Quadrelli, Frederick Schoberg, and Xavier Meyer here from the Upcycle squad. Are they going to have to be good at going up? Because they are up against a huge race field. Will the only way be up? Will they be riding like Lego men, the plastic population, or will they be riding super silky smooth? We have yet to find out. Time to see how good they are at their starts. Can they get out as fast as you can from a BMX start gate? It's time to go on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. Away we go. The men's Category 4 are away. This is a very interesting start. The first time we did this, we thought, oh, this is okay, nice and smooth. But do a left, do a right-hand turn, particularly when you go out from the gun really quick. And then we are on to a drag that has a habit of splitting the riders up. So whilst the one group, Emma, take us through the rest of this race field, because we've got some news about the sheer volume of riders.
Well, it's a big race field today. Take a look at the stretch on Category 4. 2 groups of riders already as they head out and into the city. Now, 56 riders on the start sheets in Category 4 today. 56. Now, Maillard from Upcycles did indeed take the win in Wollongong in Q3 in January. But the riders in here, they are Dadson, Pino, Kalman, Milano, Tortoretto, Lloyd, Rooney, Cridland, Callangad, Kaluma. All you need to take a look out for today. Nowak is here, Finati is here. Now, the reason you need to take a look out for those riders is because the entire top 5 from last week have all gone up to Category 3 today. So we will have a little talk about them. It makes that Cat 3 field even bigger. But 56 riders, Category 4.
It's a big pack. It's had riders going still huge here today. And the overall numbers across all of our categories have lifted us up.
202.
Fantastic. We have broken the 200 barrier. The next target, guys, I hate to tell you,
250.
It is 250. After that, we're going to go for a big whopping 500. That's a target.
That's a huge jump.
Yeah, well, come on. Look how good the racing is.
Huge jumps, they're going to sweep round the right-hand corner of the bridge. And then they are going to head to the first climb. It's very, very short, this climb into the city, but often decisive because it does kick to around 7%. So Caro, Cridland, Lloyd, Rooney, Nowak, Kaluma, all in the mix here. Milano is here as well. Newman in here. Driscoll in here, Fiedler in here as well, Brito, but it is Sean Driscoll on the front, the Irish rider at the moment, pushing it over 7 watts per kilo. Now, he's not going to win the race by this move, but he is going to start the split of the Category 4 pack.
And this course, one of the key and most important things here that you have to remember when you come to Wollongong, you need to do your maths. Fortunately, here in the studio, Emma does the maths when it comes to the route. In terms of ascent, Emma, we've 3 big climbs. They're categorized. They're huge. Is that the most important thing of the climbing?
No. Now, there's 704 metres of climbing on this course, 3 Category 4 climbs. If you add up the amount of climbing on those 3 Category 4 climbs, you get 306 metres. For the eagle-eyed amongst you who have done the math, there is more climbing outside of those Category 4 climbs than there is in all 3 of them combined. So this is a constantly changing elevation, and Mark Dadson, well, he knows that because he has raced on this course before. He's prepped, he's planned, his fan is on, and he is tuned up and ready to go.
And Mark Dawson, normally one of our very strong attackers from the start, has been known to go off from the gun. But very interesting to see a little bit more considerate approach being taken by our Category 4 riders. Or the other way of looking at it is just there's a lot more of them attacking from the start.
Dadson finished 3rd on this course back in January in Qualifier 3 when we were last here. So he knows what he's doing. And it is a measured course to race because that climb is so critical. It's a knife edge point at the top, and you've got to go over it with the group.
Well, a big pack in Category 4, a big pack in Category 3. They're lined up and ready to go. Our teams are here. We've got the WTBR MyWhoosh Brazil squad. Good to see coming in from the South American continent, Osmar Vaz. We've got X-Pro with Camilo Andres Rojas Devia. And on the basis that I'm on 1 hour's sleep in 48 hours and a lot of TV shows, my favourite team of the day, I am going to be unashamedly in this. It is Italian Espresso, which I am doing at speed at the moment. Roncalli, Caligula, Montella, Monella, Bala, and Cusimano. They are the riders representing the speedy hot stuff that is going to keep all the action going here today.
So away go, Category 3 on MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. This is always a large race field, and today, well, that is no different. 61 riders on the start sheets today in Category 1. 5 riders coming up from Cat 4. They were the top 5 last week. So Neville Ross has come up, McMurtry has come up, Mountier, Allport, Smithson have all come up. Now, Nick Scolari took the win in Cat 3 last week. He's here. Kochkov is here. Cadiz is here. Diduch. All those riders here. Now, when we were here in Qualifier 3 in January, it was Kirchner from Diduch, from Manella, from Scolari, from Giuliano who took the win. So, I predict... I'm making a very early prediction. Well, I do predict a riot, but the riot is going to be the fact that this is going to be one mad sprint, I think, in Category 3, because I think we're going to see a group go into the finish together.
Oh, that's a bold prediction on this course. I'm loving this. I go away for a week and go see a whole load of riders in action in the flesh. I come back and Emma's making bold predictions instead of sitting on the fence. This is good news. It means that I'm not the one who is getting our predictions wrong. Thank you if you joined us on our predictions on the Crosscast podcast. I know a number of you did from MyWhoosh who are racing and watching this. Now, in with Luke Allport. He's out the saddle already. He's already pushing on here at the front of the group. It's good to see Luke in his customary spot on the front of the group, winding it up from the start and handing it out to everybody.
I'll tell you something, the door is open, the air is flowing, because he's going to need that as he puts this attack in. They're going to sweep round the right-hand bend on this bridge and into the 7% kicker. So this is an early attack. This is a concerted attack with Luke Allport pushing on here, stretching the group. We've got riders distance off the back of this Category 3 race already with less than 1.5 kilometres under the wheel. And it's Allport who's doing the damage. And as the pace picks up and they continue to kick, now Oviedo goes over the top. Jose Oviedo kicking at nearly 8 watts per kilo to go up and over onto this climb, stretching the group even further. Those who are watching closely his back wheel, because they do not want to let it go.
It's a dangerous wheel to let go down the road. We know just how strong he is. One of the many riders who this course may suit. One rider I was thinking particularly on the race field, just still trying to spot him in amongst this huge group, is Hassan Al-Remethri. Now, Al-Remethri's super, super strong, and he's good on a steep climb. So I'm going to be really interested to see how he goes in here. Nicola Cansara as well, another rider that we know as the end of a race tends to come good, but I'm not sure that the climb is going to be long enough for him. Diduch in here, another strong rider.
I hate to say it, but Cansara's not on the start sheets today. I did look for him myself.
I've just seen him come through on my screen.
He's just come through. Look at that. Must be a late start, because it wasn't on my sheets when I printed them this morning, but he is indeed in the mix. You're quite right, Matt. Now, that is interesting because Cansara, well, a strong rider, finished 3rd last week and did indeed take a couple of wins, I think, in January, without me taking a look back at my notes. So Cansara strong in January. Just taking a look, it was indeed the Outer Loop in Australia that he won, which is a different course to Wollongong, but it is Australia. Feeling the vibes, riding strong.
Yes, and I think getting the quite a bit of mix. So getting your Stoke High in, of course, there you are.
Your Stoke high.
Your face is doing exactly the same. If we could just show the entire world Emma's face at the moment, it would be one of disbelief. But it does actually sum up all sports, all BMX or mountain bike or esports has a phrase for being absolutely on it, and you're buzzing with it. It's
So
that
getting your
joie
stoke
de vivre.
high
You can
means
call
you're
it joie de vivre.
buzzing with it.
You're buzzing with it. It's on
On
it.
it.
It's full on, and but that's what you need on this course, and you need to feel at home with it. You want to be at one. You want to be. It is that moment when everything goes right. Do you know what? This is a course. I'm not sure Nicol Cansara, the hills are long enough for him. He may be feeling this, but it's not a necessary course. One rider who it may well be that it suits Xavier Maillard on our screen's left-hand side in the UAE MyWhoosh jersey there, if I'm not much mistaken. Good to see Xavier on board here. Looking good here at the moment. He's super smooth, nice and low. Thanks to the waves, Xavier. Do you know, I'm waving. I just waved back at the screen in the studio.
So you could take a look at the camera on my face when Matt talks about strange BMX terms. When a rider smiles or waves, Matt waves back and no one can see him. So what is going on in the studio today? Well, who knows? But I'll tell you something. Marin, Maillard, Mamba, Rooney, Caro, Kalman, Pino are all up watching the front of this Category 4 pack. The pack is split, and you can see that on the bottom left-hand side of your screen. In fact, the pack is split into 3 groups at the moment on the road. So that bottom left-hand screen giving you a good satellite navigation image of the pack. You can see on that same graphic with the Category 3 race, it's split into 2. So 61 riders took to the start pens today in Category 3, now split into 2 groups. So the early damage done because they are, 4 kilometres into this 45-kilometre race. Not yet 10% of the race distance under their wheels. But Cansara, McMurtry, Dijach, Neville, Ross, Allpot. I'll tell you something, those riders who have come up from Category 4 are not shy today.
They're not, but I think one thing that has helped them is Categories 4's almost unblinking, unerring ability to start a race like a bunch of lunatics. Honestly, they're so quick off the start, time and time again. And I think that helps when you then come up to Category 3. You're used to the brutality of the start that Category 3 has here. Now, whether you can then keep that going for all the laps and all the climbs, it is a very different matter. And when you start getting a lot of the key protagonists attacking again and again. Now, one thing to keep an eye on here, and it was very evident in our women's race as well, the steering function is being used more and more by our riders with the increased usability of it, with the functioning of it on mini keypads. The number of riders are putting in switches to make this work and using it to go diving down the gutter to break the draft and to attack, to give more aggressive racing, to be more decisive and take control of where you go on here. Now, that is a key part of the tactics in pretty much every discipline, where you ride and how you ride in the draft and when you go on the attack. Getting that happening here, really, really key. It's going to be really interesting to see whether or not and how that's integrated in to the World Championships, which are coming up in October, the UCI World Championships, which is done in association with MyWhoosh and coming to Abu Dhabi.
It is indeed. So for our new riders, Matt, tell us a little bit about the UCI. What does UCI stand for? Okay,
so it is the Union Cyclisme Internationale. Basically, it's the international governing body for cycle sport. So if Alessio Caligula, who's done it, I'm waving
Matt's
at you.
Waving back.
I am doing it. I'm going to keep waving. I don't care if nobody can see me. So if Alessio Caligula was going to go and ride here, and to be riding the Esports World Championship, if he was to ride in the Gravel World Championships, which was in Veneto for 2 years in a row, if he was going to ride on the BMX or the indoor cycling, whatever part of cycling it is, the Union Cycliste Internationale is the governing body for sport with the universal rules. It basically is in charge of all the World Championships, the World Cups, and that means that when you are a UCI partner, you are at the top tier of the sport. Now, as a World Championship, that means that you will be awarded the iconic rainbow bands across your chest in the jersey, the World Championship gold, silver, and bronze medals. And it also means that you are part of the system that is bringing on our athletes and developing the sport, because that is a key part of the remit of the governing body, is to bring on the sport. And esports is so new, it's developing. It's not the newest. That is actually the discipline of a snow mountain bike.
Wow.
Snow bike. And that is the latest discipline. I'm struggling to think of
I
many
have seen
comparisons.
that coming from France actually over the weekend, which has been really interesting. But one of the things you did just mention, I am going to pick up on it, because you talked about underneath the UCI there being a sport called indoor cycling, and we will come back to that. So just remember that. We will come back to indoor cycling versus esports. But at the moment, we've got 36 seconds on the clock for Cat 2.
Which means I'm going to very quickly run through our riders for the Hubbers, which is Walter Clays. The Hitman's rider, Cam Winfield, is here. The Wattage Wizards with Carsten Meyer. And, of course, the UAE Falcons, Ahmed Al-Tanashi and Zamed Hayden coming in. So can Zaid Hamdan take this away? Will it be his Falcons' teammate? Will they have the claws to strike, to hold, and to take away? We will soon see. They have to dispatch the 45 kilometres and 704 metres of climbing as our Category 2 put the power down. It's time to stretch those wings and fly away from the race stop.
Well, 47 riders flying out of the start pens today in Category 2. Amongst them, Van He, Ritter, Spratt, Von Haren, Simmons, Milostic, Graves, Dont, Coinston and McCarroll, Sultan, Gombert. This is a packed race field. Parisi and Bankston also in here as well. Ivo Sur has come up from Cat 3. Had a little bit of movement this month, and it's really good to see the way the dynamic categories are functioning.
Right, my turn for a question. Dynamic categories. What does that mean?
Well, what it means is that the race entries are looked at and matched and put into liked a bit. I'm trying to work out my words. Matched ability racing.
Matched ability racing.
There you go. That's a good phrase. Matched ability racing.
And what makes it dynamic is that matching the riders.
See movement.
And we see movement, but we also see that the boundaries are not a fixed boundary between them. So it's not like we're going to say, right, Matt, you can put out 50 watts. So therefore you're in Category 4. Matt's brother, you can put out 75, so you're in Category 3, etc., etc. It is a very independent on the ability of the whole pack of the riders across the whole of the groups, across from your fastest Cat 1 to your slowest Cat 4
Yeah,
rider.
And we've seen people move up and move down. Ruben Dont has moved up from Cat 2 to Cat 1. He's back into Cat 2 today. So it does indeed change and move. Olivier Simmons there now. He is one of the strong riders in Cat 2, currently right at the front of the field as they head into that bridge over the water. This is the bridge that we've seen all of those attacks on so far, because it comes up to the kicker into the city. Big sweeping section of Cat 2 riders. They are pushing and pushing on fast.
So onto the attack, onto the climb. I'm sure Ritter, Van He, and Co all in here. Matthias Van He has been very strong, hasn't he, in the races? And this length of climb will suit his power profile, I suspect, very, very well. We don't get to look at the official power passports. More's the pity, because that would be really interesting. We could geek off on the stats all day long on that. But we do watch the riders week in, week out, as well as making sure we know what they're up to as much as possible. You can help us. This is our plea. Your commentators need you. We would like you to get in touch with us. Please do. Don't just think, oh, no, they don't mean me. We do mean you, whoever you are, wherever you are. Matthias Van He here, one of our regular riders. And Matthias, it's great to follow on social media. But we'd love you to get in touch with us. Get in touch. Get hold of Emma at biking_Emma on Instagram. Give me a message at Matt Fix a Pain. We cover a lot of cycle sport between us in lots of different disciplines.
Right.
And that is my cue in, because Emma's now going to talk about, for some reason, indoor cycling.
I am, just purely because you mentioned the term indoor cycling when you were talking about the UCI. Now, We often talk about indoor cycling, indoor training to mean we are on a turbo trainer or the rollers indoors on, for example, MyWhoosh. However, indoor cycling under the UCI banner means something completely different. So indoor cycling, artistic cycling and cycle ball.
Okay, so 2 types of indoor cycling.
Specific when we talk about indoor cycling under the UCI banner. What we're watching here is e-cycling or esports.
Yeah, so esports cycling, esports, really, really key. Obviously, where MyWhoosh is, although MyWhoosh now a main sponsor as well of the Road World Championships, which is going to be really good to see, particularly when we see the Road World Championship courses potentially coming to MyWhoosh, and I'm really looking forward to that. Now, 3 groups underway, out and away on the esports, on MyWhoosh, on the Sunday Race Club. Our Category 1 riders are the top of the tree. The Coalition Alpha Jaw team are out with riders strength in depth with Daniel Turek, Lionel Vujasic, Michael Kaminsky and Ollie Jones. For the next PB Insured squad, we've got Ewan Mackey, Scott Canizaro, for Pain Toasted, Arne Jacobs, Christoph Thiem, Jakob Björklund, Michael Plantero. And for the UAE clan team, the team that is always the team to beat because they are so strong, Michael Knudsen, Mr. X100, Pablo Popovic, and SS.
So away go our Category 1 riders, the yellow jerseys. 38 riders on the start sheets today in Category 1. They are all here. Vujasic and Kaminsky from Coalition Alpha Jaw. If you're following their social media at the moment, you will know they are racing today at the MyWhoosh HQ. Vujasic took the win last week in a sprint. It was a fraction of a second from Osborne. Phenomenal racing between those two last week. If you've not watched it, just go back. It's really exciting. Jones is here. Mackey, you've talked about. But also, we've got Van den Eekhout. We've got Montoya. We've got Dahn. We've got Tolbert. We've got Noren Van Diemen. Had a great race to finish 5th last week. Ross Fawcett is back following illness. I think it'll probably take him a couple of weeks to find his legs. But Safrazad is here as well. 3rd place last week as well for him. This is going to be good. I love this course because these riders in this Cat 1 race are so well matched and their climbing ability is phenomenal.
And the course also tests riders, I think, because it doesn't just suit a pure climber, because it's quite short in terms of climbing. It doesn't suit a pure power climber because it's quite steep. It doesn't suit particularly a flat time trial type rider because we do have the climbs in there. And because there is so much climbing elsewhere on the course, you could consider it a ruler's course.
Well,
but then again, there is the big climbing that I think this is, if you had to pick one course to challenge every rider, Wollongong could well be it.
I don't disagree.
Put the date in the diary.
But what it does mean, it gives a much more open race.
Yes.
And riders are not assuming that certain individuals are going to win. It's not like, oh my gosh, we've got a 14-kilometre climb. Michael Vink is here. Bye-bye, Michael Vink.
You mean it's not like going to the World Cyclocross Championships in the men's elite race and going, hello, Matthew van der Poel.
Hello,
oh, goodbye,
Van
Matthew
Van
van der Poel. See you later. Yeah, exactly. It's not just a firm favourite. Yeah, 100%. And I think that is great here. Now, let's just dive. We're going to stitch about 3 things together here in one go. So we talked about the UCI.
Yes.
And them governing cycle sport. That includes making sure that the racing is fair, making sure that all the bikes comply to regulations.
Yep.
Now, that is on the cross-discipline. Cross-discipline, they have that responsibility. Yes. In esports cycling, that is very difficult to achieve. MyWhoosh are regarded by many, including many of the leading journalists who are totally independent, as being the class leader in verification. That is part of that process, isn't it? And that verification is key. And one of the ways they're doing that, and this is where we're going to stitch right to the start of our Category 1 start, they are bringing riders in and physically checking them and watching what they're doing. Now, it's been on social media and the
Yep.
riders have shared this. So if we would always respect if the riders hadn't shared this, but they have been all over social media themselves. So thank you very much, lads. Emma, tell us a little bit about what's been going on this week, whilst simultaneously keeping an eye on the action.
Yeah, so Vujjasin and Kaminsky, the two riders for the Coalition Alpha Jaw team, two really strong riders, really peaking their form at the moment. Down at MyWhoosh HQ this week, doing power passport tests, checking that verification, checking their numbers, and riding and racing the Sunday Race Club from there as well today. Rather than getting on a jet plane, flying home, and then having all those issues, they are indeed doing the Sunday Race Club from the MyWhoosh HQ today. But we have seen other riders as well head to Abu Dhabi. I mean, Lisa Hermansen was indeed in the studio there not that long ago. Natalia Idzik as well has been there too. So men and women all heading out to the MyWhoosh HQ at Abu Dhabi, putting in those numbers in real life in front of the crew at MyWhoosh.
So they're on tested equipment, they're on verified equipment. That is data, it's equipment that the team at MyWhoosh know exactly how it measures, and how that is in relation to the rest of the equipment. And our riders then are asked to perform to show that you can walk the walk and talk the walk.
Exactly.
It's no good putting out big numbers then when you get there. Now, of course, they're taking into account the effect that the riders have traveled maybe across the globe to go there, and that the conditions are different to the are at home. So there's going to be some leeway in there. Does that mean that when you travel, I would expect all riders to actually put in a worse performance after a long traveling session?
Well, they're not getting off the plane and going straight into a room and doing a power test.
Good.
They are allowed to, take a rest, assimilate, have a couple of days to stretch their legs before they're asked to verify.
That's kind of handy, but you've still travelled halfway around the world, potentially.
But let me put it this way. Kaminsky, those who follow Michael Kaminsky on social media will know, and if I've interpreted his results correctly, because he photographed his power passport test results, he actually PB'd at the MyWhoosh headquarters.
And that shows you that the esports athletes are now pushing out some fantastic performances when they go down there. Now, it's great to see our riders doing that, and we've got a real mix of riders. So don't just think it's just going to be our Category 1 riders that are doing this. It's a mix of riders. We have a mix of riders on our screens at the moment. Jeff Rooney on the right-hand side of your screen. In Category 4, Johan Moreno in another one of our MyWhoosh Championship
I love
jerseys.
That jersey.
It's brilliant, isn't it? You're just jealous.
I know, I want
Category 3. In Category 2, Maurice Ritter is sitting strong. He had a good ride last week when I was watching the show back. Had a nice watch in the airport. And then Saeed Safrizad, an interesting Saeed Safrizad, we know is a class international rider. His medals and trophies on the back. He hasn't got those in the local egg and spoon race at school. Those are big, serious trophies he's got there. And he's one of the riders who we do pay quite a lot of attention to, because his racing program is pretty packed across road, across mountain bike, and on esports. A multidiscipline rider, which is what we're seeing. So great to see that. So here in Wollongong, the home of a previous Road World Championships, I think it was the one before Glasgow, which would make it 2022.
I love you trying to work things out. That's hilarious.
It's true. Listen, I've been up for 48 hours with 1 hour sleep and 7 shows or 8. I in fact can't even count the number of shows. And all of them all with UCI disciplines. And that is one of the great things I have to say I really love. It's great to be back here on MyWhoosh after what has seemed like for everybody, it was only 2 weeks ago that we put words to the action in the studio. I'll tell you one thing that never changes with MyWhoosh, and that is the quality of riding from our riders and the way that they take on the racing. There's a real mix of tactics, of attitudes, but one thing that puts them all together is you can see just how hard they're trying.
Well, one of the things I really love is the fact that we have new riders coming into the mix week on week, and that is fantastic to see. We had new riders today in the women's race. Please do take a look at that show. It is on the MyWhoosh YouTube channel. It's also on Twitch TV. Today in the men's race, Cameron Coburn joining us from the States. First time ride on the Sunday Race Club for him. Top 10 in the USA Esports Championships. So a strong rider, and I've just seen him flick onto my screen. There we go. You can see him number 44 at the moment now, changing and rolling through. But fantastic to keep having new riders join us. And if you want to join the Sunday Race Club, you need to head over to the MyWhoosh website, click on the events page, click on the Sunday Race Club, and you'll find all the information you need there in terms of the technical guide, the rules and regs, and the verification program to get yourself on the start line. Come and be part and parcel of the Sunday Race Club. We run every Sunday for the entire year. Match racing, 4 categories in the men's race, 4 categories in the women's race, equal prize money, and we have sprints and climbs along the way.
Now, the sprints and climbs don't count for the prizes, but they do give us a good indication of who's moving fast, who's looking good. At the moment, you can see very similar results here between our Category 1 riders in the yellow and Category 2 riders in the green. The pace difference, the power difference will change as we go through. Carradine and SS, though, both riders who stretch their legs in the sprints and use them as an opportunity to shake things up. And you can see, even though we have gone beyond the sprint, we've got a push going on here. We've got SS and Mr. X100 on the front being chased here by Jakob Björklund. And the 2 UAE clan riders are now down the road. They are being chased and chased hard here. Jakob Björklund giving it everything out of the saddle there. He's got onto the wheels. He sits down when he's got on the wheels. He can't back off too much. Now, I'm not sure that was the change of the gear in the wrong direction there. He went into an easier gear, and that might have been just the wrong time. That slight difference took him off the back. He's having to work again, and you can see having to work again. He needs to just get the rhythm right to drop in behind, and it is a technique that takes time to get right.
Well, take a look at the stretch on the group behind, because the really big stretch on the Category 1 race, the one rider's just dropped off, and this is an early attack, 6.9 kilometres into this race. Now, the first climb, the Wollongong climb, the first time they got this categorised number 4 climb, comes at 9.7 kilometres, so they've still got 2.7k to go. So this is an early attack, not wanting to leave this to the climb. So those riders who want to put a little bit of danger, a little bit of ache into those riders, those climbers' legs, really starting to push on as keeping this pace high in Wollongong today.
I was just watching Arnie Jacobs there.
Actually, you were just having a mouthful of coffee.
And having a mouthful of coffee simultaneously. I can multitask. It's fine. I might not be able to count, but I can multitask. The riders go through there. I was watching Arnie Jacobs. Now, really interested to contrast the two styles there between Björklund and Jacobs. Jacobs was sat down, super smooth, super cool, not having to go out the saddle. Really had that dialed, and he looked. He's not worrying. That's what came across. This is okay. I'm quite comfy doing this. Keep at it. If it distances people, that is fine by me. I am actually thinking, yeah, this is good. And we are at the early stages, 7.9 kilometers of distance covered, 11 minutes, 20 seconds of racing for our Category 1 riders. Meanwhile, our Category 3 riders are working their way through the Category 4 as well.
They are indeed. And at 17.2 kilometers into this race, is the leaders in the Category 3 race field, and they are picking up Category 4 riders. So Cusimano, Manella, and Caligula all in the mix here. Diduch Moreno in here as well, pushing on. It's still a large pack now. They've gone up and over the first round of the Wollongong climb. They've come down the other side, and they are continuing to transition with those Category 4 riders sat in.
Well, we get away from all of the riders. Well, 3 riders on the screen from the Italian Espresso squad. One of the great gifts from Italy to the world, the Italian Espresso. And the team there, I have to say, I'm loving the headwear. We've got a choice of 3 types of headband there. Absolutely brilliant to see.
Can I just say, in the UK, it is National Pizza Day as well today. Espresso, pizza. What a better combination could you get? It is.
I'm doing the espresso. It may well be a pizza later. The best pizza I've ever had was near it's not near Lake Garda, but it's next lake over, Lac Maggiore, where I was racing and riding out there for a couple of weeks, and it was the best pizza I've ever
tastes
had.
good after a race.
It does, and it was before. It was every other day in between, or as well as the spaghetti that seemed to be the hotel staple there. Well, anyway, enough of Italy. Let's get back to the climb here in Wollongong. Our category 2 are coming up to the top. And this is a nice little snapshot. If you've not seen this climb before, we go underneath the polka dot banner. That is not the finishing line. That is just the end of the climb segment. When we come up here for the very last time, when we come round on our third ascent, our riders will have to continue onwards, and they are not aiming for that polka dot banner. Oh no, they're not aiming for that red banner over the top. Oh no. It is even further on than that, and they are going to be aiming for the UCI banner that signifies the end of the race. So instead of it being an inflatable arch style, it is in the full-on championship gantry. So the solid square gantry. It's got the white on the top there. That is where we will finish at the end of lap number 3. Now, Ruben Dunt is burying himself here at the moment over the top of the climb. You can see he's got the polka dot jersey as the fastest up the climb. The effort, though, put him to the back of the group after the climb banner, and now he has to get back on. And you can see the effort here. He knows the danger of being distanced. He won't get back on that. It's a massive group going down there.
Now, we talked about this in the women's race. We talked about the fact that the automatic assumption when you go up and over the top and onto the downhill section of the climb is that you come off the power, you come off the pace, and you drop your heart rate. But Dont there really showing the fact that sometimes you have to work exceptionally hard on the downhill to stay with the group that's gone over in front of you, because the automatic pick up in pace, the momentum that the pack carry, trying to get back on if there is a gap, can be absolutely soul destroying. But being shown there by Ruben Dont, the effort that is needed to catch a group back on the downhill.
And he has to say, and you can see there, 2 groups developed, split apart, going over the summit of the top of the climb here. The Wollongong climb splitting the riders. It's a 2-stage climb, so the riders in category 1 on the first part of the climb. This is the minor section of the climb, but it is still steep here. However, as we go over the top, we're going to drop down. It is a fast drop in. It is a sweeping right-hand bend. We go into a 90-degree left-hand turn. So you go round that right-hand bend. We drop down. We go round the left-hand turn. And when we go round the left, it starts going back up again. And that is where it gets steep, because the top section here, the top half of the climb, basically part 2, steep start and a steep finish, and it's noisy in the middle.
Take a look at that side, Saffredhead, who we've got on our screen at the moment, kicking up at 11% on the downhill section, and that's to take the momentum with him into the base of this climb and to propel himself to the front of the group, which he has done absolutely beautifully. So utilising the downhill, utilising technique to propel himself to the front of the pack, putting the power down where it counted there on the downhill section, not on the uphill section, to get to the front of the group. So Vujasin, Jones, Van Diemen are all in the mix here. In fact, take a look at that. That is Pim Van Diemen. He is working hard at the front. Mikhail Kaminski in 2, Jones in 3, Vujasin is there as well. Now, Van Diemen, phenomenal racing last week, took 5th on the Sunday Race Club. We were on the Heritage Climb last week, the new course in Alula, and you can take a look there, Van Diemen on the shot as well, just looking over his shoulder. Well, that's his avatar looking over his shoulder at Jason Osborne and Mikhail Kaminski, who are with him in real life. The fan is blowing, and he's going to need that because the gradient is only going to get steeper between now and the top.
So Pim Van Diemen out of the saddle, the wind blowing to cool him down as he's in his pain zone here, because it's going to be hurting, but he's climbing well. He may well be the rider who gets the nickname of El Diablo. Now, the demon or diamond himself, it's either that or it's going to be a real gem to do. We're going to give all of our riders nicknames by the time we get to the end, all 200 of them, if we're not careful. But you know what? They set them themselves. They set down their performances. They show us their character when they're going to get stuff. And this Category 1 field are blisteringly quick up this climb. It's not that long ago. We were going into the base of part 2. We're now through underneath the polka dot banner of the top of the climb. That is incredibly quick climbing, and they're going to be round onto the right-hand turn, the finishing line, and heading out onto their next lap very quickly indeed. So, Saeed Safrazad taking the polka dot jersey, going up and through. We saw that effort coming out from him on the descent. He went in at pace from the back of the group, carrying speed, and that's one way to take the fastest time. Start at the bottom of the climb at the back, finish up at near the front. You're going to be absolutely flying. So, leading riders in and through. Interesting to note, 3 of the UAE clan team right up in the mix here. Kaminsky's looking good, but what's often more noticeable is the riders who are in that group, but who are keeping themselves out of trouble. Jason Osborne, an absolute master of this. Lionel Vujasin is the same. Riders who we don't necessarily see at the front until they are making a move and they're making a decisive play.
Oh, making a decisive play at the moment. That is 5 riders pushing on. They don't have a huge gap at the moment, but 5 riders there. So Jones, Vujasin, Kaminsky, Safrazedi, and Panizza just 1 second back to Jacobs and X100 as the push comes on to squeeze into that leading group. Now 16 riders went over the top of that climb pretty much within 2 seconds of each other in category 1. So a large group of riders. It is a short climb, as Matt mentioned. It goes up, it goes down, it goes up again, and it is very steep, but it is only 1.9 kilometers, and our leading category 1 riders really can motor up there. Motoring at the moment, this is the category 2 race. They're at 16.3 kilometers into this race. They are on the transition into Wollongong City again. Shortly, they will be coming up and onto the bridge. In fact, on the top right-hand corner of your screen, the little kicker that you can see up there is that bridge that we saw shortly after the start pen. So they will be coming round to that for the second time as Nicholas Spratt joins James Krasnich at the front with Olivier Simmons, Ruben Dont, Philip Graves, Anders Bankston. Gallo is in there as well. So is Von Haren. It is fast and furious in this category 2 race. And that's because the leading pack is still a large one.
It's ridiculously big.
Well, we've got some phenomenal 202 riders on the start sheets today. 47 in Cat 2, 38 in Cat 1. Those are our 2 smallest race fields because Category 3, 61 riders, and Category 4, 56.
Category 4 at the moment, the action is coming down very quickly indeed as they make their way around the course. They're at 24.5 kilometres of the 45k course. We have seen red and yellow chevrons absolutely being plastered across that right-hand side of the screen. If you're watching at home, today's please do give us a picture. Send us a picture. Now, we've had a fantastic picture coming in, and I know shouting at the screen right now, we have got 2 people who are very, very keen watchers of cycle sport and know what they're talking about. One is Jeff Thorin, who you may know as one of the key people when it comes to recording the images and get some amazing shots out there. But he's down here and he is watching with his young son here, looking on, watching their mates riding on the Sunday race course. So we hope we're inspiring you. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Send us your pictures in, tag them in, just as Jeff has done with @MattFixThePaint and @BikingEmma. And we want you to be shouting these riders on, cheering on. What is a fantastic move here? They've got the gap here. You can see on the left of your screen, we have got our leaders coming into that right-hand turn. Behind, you've got the riders
9
chasing.
riders.
And this is a good group. This is a split and it's got big names in there. They need to stay clear, and that is why you're seeing them really working hard here, because these riders, they have the qualification of good riders who can stay clear. They've got that Palmares.
So 9 riders leading that category 4 race at the moment as they head for the second time into the Wollongong climb. This is the category 1 race. This is the flyover actually, and take a look at that. We've got a bit of a stretch on the front here, and it's Vujasin and Osborne, Safrazedi, Jones, Panizza, Kaminsky, Arnie Jacobs is in there as well as Johan Noren, SS Popovic are all in the mix. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think that's around 12 riders in the front of this leading group in the category 1 race. So a real continuing to push at the front here today.
That was my kind of counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 12 riders there. It's quite impressive, the silence to get between 7 and 12.
I said around 12.
Yes, I don't think you're far wrong here. Now, one of the things that you'll notice if you are watching this for the first time or you're not a regular is that our riders are able to draft different categories of riders. So we have a Category 2 rider jumping in here. Juan Ceballos in with the riders who are racing. You can see we're focusing on him at the moment in the green jersey. He's sitting in now. He needs to make sure he uses these riders to his advantage. They are coming through. And in MyWhoosh, on the Sunday Race Club at the moment, we have 2 existing worlds. We have 2 parallel worlds. So this is where things get a little bit random. But bear with us. 2 parallel worlds. In world number 1, setting off first, are categories 4 and category 3. They have their own world. And they can draft each other, see each other, and are chasing each other with category 3 chasing category 4. This world that we're in now, we have the second of our parallel worlds. We have category 2 setting off 5 minutes in front of category 1. Now, category 1 can see, chase, catch, and category 2 can do the same with category 1 in this world. So riders like Ceballos can jump in with that group, use them to their advantage. Category 1, as they catch the category 2 riders, can also use that draft to keep going clear. Johan Noren is very aware of who's where and what on this course. He's attacked off on this section as we've gone down past the Pez. We're kicking on this straight, and he wants to open up the gap. Now, the one thing that can't happen, you can't have the 2 worlds coming together. So categories 1 and 2 can't see category 3 and 4, and vice versa. They can't exist in the same space-time continuum. Otherwise, the world will come to a dramatic end. It's true. It doesn't work like that. You can't do that in any world.
Seriously?
So yeah, you can't have category 3 and 4.
I hate to say it, but I think the
2.
production team have just fallen over off of their chairs in my ears.
It would. The world would come to an end if these riders came together. That would not happen. We can't have category 3 and 4 with category 1 and 2.
Whilst
out.
Matt challenges himself with the quantum physics and
it
AI
might also be
there
might actually be a level of science fiction in there as well.
I was going to say there's some all sorts of, it's a mixed bag in Matt's brain today. We won't blame the fact that he's had 27 espressos to stay awake while he's been commentating overnight on the action from New Zealand. But Johan Noren, I'll tell you something.
He's been on the espressos.
He's had his espresso as well, because Noren is absolutely flying. Now we know he is a strong climber and a strong rider, being chased by X100 and Pim van Diemen, but nearly 10 seconds now for Noren in that category 1 race. This is the category 2 race, and there's a push coming here as well. 3 riders pushing clear now, nearly 10 seconds as well here for Don, Kranich and Spratt. So these 3 riders now in this category 2 race pushing on. We're seeing a push in the category 1 race. These riders, Matt, do not want to leave it to the climb.
No, and I don't blame them, because a big group coming into the climb, you're banking on being able to go up there better than everybody else. It's a much easier task to see what these riders are doing. Now, Ruben Don has been a rider who's really aggressive, kicking through the sprints when he first came onto the platform. We saw him taking the jerseys. And look at this. He's gone over the top. He's gone clear. They're taking a rest on the way down here. A little bit of freeway. You could see that. I mean, great to see the camera on Ruben there.
Shows you
and
exactly
on his avatar.
What he was
you
doing.
can just see easing off, using the downhill, wipes away some of the sweat, going to be able to cool down better, using it. Now goes into the next climb. And this is why it really pays not just to come and race on the Sunday Race Club, but jump on board, whether you're doing your training programs, whether you're riding in a social ride, whether you're going out and recceing the route, whether you're going to come and ride on one of the new
and for
leagues.
Me, that's so important.
Leagues.
Wrecking these routes is so important. You know, these courses are very, very different. When you look at some of them, you think, oh, there's another long climb at the end. But actually, some of these courses, they are very different. You do need to understand them. You do need to understand the dynamics. And this course in particular, because the assumption when you look at this is, oh, it's all about those 3 climbs. Well, actually, it's not. And this is what our race fields are showing us. This is what category 2 and category 1 are both showing us, that this is about the transitions between the climbs that are so important in this race.
And the chasing group behind here now looking to close down, but they're on this mixed terrain. They're working the way through. We've got the leaders off on the front. Remember, these riders are all chasing top 5 spots in the race in our qualifiers. Prizes for individual riders in the top 5 in all categories across both the men's and the women's races. And that is what they're chasing At the moment, when we come to the end of the month, we have our team prizes in addition, and that means that it ups the stakes even more, and it makes it even more important to know where your race route is, how to ride it, and how to ride it to your advantage. Now, Henry East is right in at the front of the group. Henry, with a very big fan on him today. We've seen his pictures on social media. Great to see that he's taking it so seriously. He's absolutely huge. It's very similar, in fact, to the fans that we use here in the studios, to cool the studios down, as well as in the pain caves. So great to see that image from him. Now, heading across from one world to another, by the miracle of time travel, or basically, aka MyWhoosh, we are going to head into the world of Category 3 and 4. And as you can see, the Category 3 leaders are working their way through the Category 4 riders, and they're doing so on the climb. And this is where the power to weight ratio that is shown by our Category 3 riders is to their advantage and to the disadvantage of the Category 4 riders they catch, because the Category 4 riders can't take advantage of the draft. It's harder to stay with a better rider when you are on the climb than when you are on the descent. It is really straightforward. And the riders at the moment who are being caught by the leaders, they are in trouble. Now, Nick Squillari right up here, working very strongly here. Now, Emma, last week...
He took a brilliant win.
He took a fantastic rally. I absolutely loved seeing that last week and seeing him in action. Please do take a look back. I had the pleasure of watching it in 4K, because we're now going out in 4K Ultra HD on the MyWhoosh YouTube channel. Give it a subscribe, give it a like, and watch all of this action in 4K. And you'll be able to see Paolo Eduardo Kirchner on the climb here. We're in with Paolo, with his avatar, and with Paolo as he is riding out of the saddle now, kicking down. He knows he wants to stay with this group here. He doesn't want to let those wheels go. He's got to stay in. It does ease slightly for a little while before we kick into the very top of the slope. Now, what he may want is it for it to ease, but you can see tough day out at the office. He's putting down some phenomenal watts there.
Well,
we're talking
3.
over 400 watts here,
Category
Emma.
3, the strength and depth in Category 3 always amazes me. But I don't know why, because, it's our biggest race field in the men's race, but the quality of the racing in Category 3 is fantastic. If you take a look back to the numbers in January, Matt, in Category 3, there were 4 races in January, 3 qualifiers in the final. 4 different winners took the win in Category 3 in the men's race field. The strength and depth in that race field is amazing.
It is, and it's shown on our screens time and time again. Nick Scolari leading up here from Mantello, Manila, looking very, very strong here. The rider from the Italian Espresso squad really is trying to hold on to Scolari. This is going to be really interesting to watch as these riders continue up to the top of the climb, working the way through the Category 4 on the left-hand side of your screen, right-hand side. It is Category 4 leaders. They were flying.
1.5 kilometres separating the leaders of Category 3 to the leaders of Category 4 at the moment. Currently, we're in with the leader in Category 1. And I say leader because Johan Noren has put in an attack, and the attack has stuck. He is 10 seconds clear of the chase group. SS Jones, Paradeans, all at the front of that chase group. But Johan Noren is continuing to push on. Now, he will have seen riders win from a breakaway on this course, but it's still a large pack, and you can see that on the bottom left-hand side of your screen as the group come into the start of the sprint, and that is Noren down the road as SS is doing an SS trick at the moment. He's utilising the sprint to push on.
He's kicking. He's on his way down here. Can he make the back wheel of Noren? Will he use it to his advantage? He's got 3 seconds into the riders behind. He uses that sprint. Now, is he going to continue to push? He's not. He eases off. He takes that green jersey. So, combining some sprint training with riding on the Sunday Race Club. He's the green figure in the green skin suit ahead of that pack. And you can see he has taken that time. But when you look at the rest of the times, SS and Johan Noren are the fastest riders through that section in Category 1. Ruben Dont, though, is the second fastest rider. And Ruben Dont, we saw, was aggressive, attacking. He was away in a breakaway group at the front of the Category 2. He is being a very, very dynamic rider and really is changing the pace up and down Fantastic racing in here. Very interesting to see that the speed of the ride is very similar going in and through.
Well, take a look at the size of that group chasing Johan Noren at the moment. It is still a huge group of Category 1 riders. They're at 22.9 kilometres into this 45-kilometre race. That next ascent of the Wollongong climb coming at 26.3. So still some way into the foothills before that climb. And Noren, well, he's being allowed to hang out there at the moment, and they're not that interested in chasing him. It was a 10-second gap, now 13 seconds. So he's pushing it out, Matt.
He's pushing it out. He's holding on here at 13.6. He would want more time at this stage in the race. We've just got over half race distance, which is great when you think we're over halfway, but we're only just less than half distance to go. Going solo is difficult. This is not medicine. This is not, see one, do one, teach one, where you can watch that. These guys have got to make this stick. And, you watch somebody like Michael Vick go on the attack and take a clean breakaway win on this circuit. That is one thing. To be able to deliver, that is another. Johan Noren on a move down here. And I tell you, it's a brave move. That time gap is stretching at the moment, but the pack behind are not putting in a concerted chase. I think they're going to, as Emma said, leave him out there to dry for a bit, and that is going to make life harder later in the race. That is on the top left-hand side of your screen. Top right-hand side now going to the second screen from the left. That is Ruben Dont, who is in the green for Category 2. You're watching Nick Scolari in Category 3 in blue. And in Category 4, Jonathan Cridland right in the mix here in that polka dot skin suit in Category 4. Category 3 and 4 world, well, it's a world of leading groups of riders rather than individual breakaways.
It is. So currently 6 riders in the leading group in Category 4. They are the leaders on the road at the moment. They were the first race field to leave the start pens today. They're currently at 32.6 kilometres into the race. Now, the leaders in the Category 3 race field, I've been trying to do a little bit of counting, but I think there's around 10 or 11 riders in that group. They are 1.2 kilometres back. So a good pace being set by the Category 4 race field to stay clear of that Category 3 race field for so long into this race. But I think at some stage we're going to see those two race fields come together.
Indeed, and that won't be a world-ending moment. That'll just be a lot of really difficult tactics to choose from, because when leading groups come together on the course, we have a mix of riders. It often causes confusion dependent on whereabouts in the course it is. One of the best things about bike racing is it was described and is regularly described as chess on wheels. But for me, it's chess on wheels whilst you're riding on your limit in an oxygen-deprived state and constantly trying to take in multiple data points and trying to put in the best performance you can, all whilst playing chess. It is absolutely a massive, massive task for all of our riders. And fair play to every single rider on here. This is something else.
Yeah, take a look at this. So we had 5 riders down the road in this Category 2 race and a chasing pack of around 12. Well, El Alami has now brought that chasing group back. So El Alami pulling the pack back as they come onto the second half of the Wollongong climb for the second time. Look at the size of that Category 2 leading group. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 riders I count at the front of the Category 2 race field.
This may be a difference in count skills. I make that 18.
Do you?
I do,
but
not by much. 2. But that's only because we've got Marcin of the back of this group here. He's clear of Olivier Simmons. He's in 18th place. I'm using the screens on the right rather than trying to count them up, because we all know my counting is absolutely pants. Now, as we go up on to the climb, Marcin Trojanowski is making his way into the rear of this group. He's got to keep on pushing up to the front of the race, though. The big problem with being at the back, if a split occurs, there's a split occurring partway through the group, you can't close that down immediately if you're sat on the back. So all the riders, when they come back into the group, want to push to the front because everybody has that same thought. That is incredibly difficult to do. It's easier when it is slightly more level rather than downhill or a very steep ascent. And at the moment, that's what's happening in Category 2. Category 1 leaders, Johan Noren, our sole escapee, well, he at the moment is at what is 10 seconds, but that is in part due to the fact that this is a live timing split. So if you're new to esports and come from another discipline, here we go, back going full circle here. If you're new to esports, this is based on the relative speeds of the riders and their position on the race route. He's not done in the old school way of going, right, Johan Noren is approaching the MyWhoosh sign. He's gone past it now. And then somebody starts the clock, and then we have to wait till the riders behind come to that same point, and then we stop the clock. It is computed by the speeds and distances covered by the riders, so it does go up and down somewhat. Johan Noren is starting to get brought back. But as it goes on to the climb, that physical gap will come down. Now, on to your screens, you can see that we have a real mix of our riders in here. We've got Cahill, we've got Simmons, we've got Oviedo, Kirchner, and Pim Van Diemen. Van Diemen, he's looking pretty cool of these riders at the moment.
Well, it's interesting to see, isn't it? Van Diemen very much part and parcel of that chase group in that Category 1 race with Noren down the road. You can see our other riders, Kirchner there, refreshment and hydration, absolutely key. And ensuring what I like to call husbandry during racing is absolutely part and parcel of your race tactic. Now, Van Diemen, part and parcel of this group, going down the drop. They've gone up and over the first part of this Wollongong climb. They are dropping down into the dip, and then as we saw last time from Safrazadi, we saw the momentum being utilized to go towards the front of the group on the second part of the climb, doing exactly the same again. Ollie Jones is there, Pablo Popovic is there, Johan Noren, you can just see him there. He'd put that attack in, he'd got around 14 seconds. Well, it's now 3 seconds on the climb, but he's given himself that sliding room. Can he now attach himself to the group that are coming past? It's Ollie Jones leading the charge with David Tolbert in 2, Jason Osborne in 3, Pim Van Diemen is there as well. The kick is coming. Noren now needs to hang with this group because this group, well, they've got the last section of this climb to go, and they are going to start working their way very clearly through the Category 2 race field that are up on the mountainside ahead of them.
So here we go on to the climb. Ollie Jones is one of our breakaway specialists at the moment, tangled up in the group. He's a rider who we know can go clear, but we are still at sub 30 kilometers covered of our 45 kilometer race here today on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. And as we go on to this climb, this is the chase that is on a man that they were chasing so long. It was Johan Noren. Do you know what? Noren today is on a ride. You see them coming past our Category 2 riders at the moment. Our leading group of Category 1, in terms of the group, there's a 30-second gap back to Michael Plantero of the Pain Toasted squad. This is going to be a tough race. Second time up the climb of Wollongong. Second time up and underneath the banner. The third time of asking will be for the race finish.
The leading group in the Category 1 race tapping their way towards the top of the Wollongong climb because the top is further up the hillside than the polka dot banner, signifying the end of the segment, and it's the segment times in front of you. So 3 minutes 50 seconds it took SS from the UAE clan team to set the fastest time up there. Popovic in 2, Osborne in 3, Safrazadi, Kaminsky, X100, Jones, Vujassin and Van Diemen all continuing to push up the climb and all within 2 seconds of each other.
Super close as go up over the top here now into the descent. You have got to stay in the wheels. You really have to hold on tight here. A little bit of a kicker as we come out from the knife edge summit to compress the group back down again, but it will split open once again as we go underneath our New Year's sign. The Chinese New Year kicking off here. It's the year of the dragon. Well, who's going to roar like a dragon and who will be like a drowned dragon?
A drowned dragon or a drowned rat?
No, a drowned dragon. You need to
Wow.
read your Wizard of Earthsea by Ursula Le Guin.
Do I?
You do. It's a great series of books. There you are. Today's book club recommendation by Matt. Right.
Matt's book club.
Oh, don't get me started. We could do great ones in terms of the racing here. Read The Great Boffo. It's the man, not the machine.
Well,
the Great Bicycle
whether
Race.
It's the man or the machine, the man at the moment is Mark Dadson, and Dadson is currently leading the Category 4 race. Now, Dadson, one of our very strong riders in Category 4, is being chased by Cridland, Connell, Cowman, all in the mix there. So is Pino. In fact, that's a good chasing group of 5 riders. So Mark Dadson currently 2 seconds clear of a chasing group of 5 in the Category 4 race. They are at 38 kilometres now into this 45-kilometre race. They've got one more ascent of the Wollongong climb to come. That polka dot banner signifying the end of the climb will come 500 metres before the finish line, or should I say 200 metres before the finish line, because that's the distance between the polka dot banner and the finish line at the top of the Wollongong climb.
Sorry, I was just having major bike envy there to Mr. Dadson.
Well, whilst Matt's got major bike envy, Dadson has now lost the lead in the Category 4 race as that group come back together. So 6 riders now leading the Category 4 race.
Well, it's going to be very interesting here in Category 3 as they start to work their way through and catch Category 4 riders. They are bringing a number of riders with them who have those red jerseys of Category 4. This is not an easy course to stay with faster riders as you will go round because of the amount of climbing, because of the amount of times you have to kick out the saddle. If you look at the top right-hand side of your screen, that course profile with the white line, the rider's position indicated by the yellow vertical bar on there, and you'll see that as we come in and through, the gradient increases steeply, it decreases steeply. The transition point and time between the two is not exactly long, and that means that as you make your way over the top, it's going to break apart very, very quickly indeed.
Well, Ollie Jones here pushing on Pim van Diemen within there, pushing hard. Popovic is leading the chase behind with Panizza. Osborne Safrazadi is there too. These riders continue to push in this Category 1 race as they are heading towards the 32-kilometre mark. They're heading into town. They've got to go all the way through town, past the City Beach Sprint for the 3rd time before they get to the Wollongong climb. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 riders in this leading group continuing to push. They are looking like they are now clear. SS, in fact, 18 seconds back.
So Pim van Diemen on the move at the moment, working his way on the back of the group. He's going to try and accelerate round. They come around the Vink turn, named after Michael Vink for his multiple breakaways on this point in the climb, on the descent, the turn round, the spin, the race lure, and that movement round, the point at which he took advantage of the group. Now, that tactic, the groups are wise to, and at the moment, Pim van Diemen stayed in the group. Has anybody been distanced off the back of that group? I can see that SS is not in the pack. Neither is Jacobs. Neither is Johan Noren. SS has work to do to get back on again. Now, previously, we have seen the UAE clan team send riders back. That is a massive risk here today, and we know that they look after their riders, but that is maybe an ask too much. Arnie Jacobs chasing SS here today. Just looking at the revs there, I mean, he's down at 76,
yeah, I noticed
77.
That he's pushing a gear, isn't he? Because he's trying to close down that gap to SS, and he's not doing it by spinning a high cadence. He's doing it by pushing a gear. Now, SSE is indeed going to come up onto the wheel of SS, but there's a 22-second gap between them and that leading group.
So riders who are good at a big gear, a low cadence, are going to keep turning that round. It's a great way to work and sit at your own pace. It is biomechanically pretty efficient to do that. The downside is it's very hard to rev up and down, to have the power modulation, the speed and the fluidity to be able to answer attacks. And there's another move going off the front here. Is that Mr. X100 I've seen just going diving off the front? We're just going to try and take a look. Who is it?
Yeah,
it is Mr. X100 on the move here.
Utilising that group to come past.
Yeah, smart move. Using the draft in the category 1-2 world here today. Well, he's shaking the foundations. He's on the move. Mr. X100 attacks going through the group, and he's got a gap here. He's opened 4 seconds up very quickly indeed. The category 2 riders have seen that, and they want to get on his wheel. He's pushing on, and all the time that the category 2 riders are chasing Mr. X100, they are not available for their chasing group of category 1 riders being led by Said Safrazad.
The pace that X100 will sit at, because we know he sits in time trials around 5.5 watts per kilo. That is going to be a very, very hot pace for these category 2 riders to stay with, but Ian McCarroll is working really hard to try and get onto his back wheel, but the effort that it's taken him to make that transition, I think is going to make him blow. I do not think he is going to be able to stay at the pace that we know X100 can sit at. Now, on the right-hand side of your screen, in fact, now on your main screen, this is that group indeed. So Clays, Millerstick, Popovic is the rider. Look at that. Pablo Popovic is the rider doing the chasing, but he's 3 seconds back. Look at that. You can see there indeed. We're in with the green jersey Cat 2, but that behind is the chasing group in Cat 1. The rider there chasing is X100, who is time trialing his way away from them at the moment. He's 8 seconds clear. Now, if you remember, at this time, last lap, this is a 3-lap course. This time, last lap, it was Noren who put the breakaway in Cat 1. This time it's X100, but we are also looking at the Cat 2 race here as well.
And in Cat 2, Walter Clay's in here. He's down. That looks like he's down on the tri-bars there, on the aero bars, just resting his body on there. It is actually really efficient to do so, because you're taking the body weight off your arms. That means there's more of your energy, more of the blood going to your legs. You're not putting the energy in through your arms. It's not possible to do that everywhere, particularly on this steep climb. But by taking that bit of a rest, it means that it's going to be fresher on the climb. But look at the category 1 come through. It is like the tide coming up a beach. Category 1 riders flood over the top of category 2. They're taking the sand along with them. They are going to drop them at some point. They're going to carry on, and the category 2 will be left behind. You can see how hard this is, and anybody who can stay with the category 1 group is getting an immediate advantage over those who can't stay with it.
Well, timing is absolutely key for them here, because if they get caught and they can stay at the top of the climb, very, very different to the bottom when the attack comes. So these category 2 riders earning their ice cream at the moment, being able to stay in this pack with category 1, that's the reward they've got now for this tow.
I'm not going to talk. You just mentioned ice cream, and I can't have any until we get to the end of the race here today. But I tell you something, this lot, they are going to need some serious cooling down. I mean, we do joke about the ice cream effect on us in the commentary box, but the riders keeping cool when the pace is so hot, and it is so. There's a lot of following riders at a pace that you don't necessarily plan to do so. That can put you in the red. It can get you overheating really, really quick. These riders that will have a game plan coming in, and whilst they know that that's not necessarily going to stick, a lot of people in the heat of battle, in the heat of action, when they're racing on Sunday Race Club, they do things they weren't expecting to do, and they push themselves that little bit harder, that little bit extra, and that can put you in trouble. And you said that about our category 2 riders trying to chase and stay with Mr. X100. In the category 3-4 race, category 4 are still in the lead. Peter Connell is the rider who's chasing, but he is 1 minute 18 behind. We are on to our final ascent of a Wollongong here, going up the climb. I'm not sure they're going to get them back. This group of category 4 riders are riding incredibly strongly.
6 Category 4 riders going into the base of the Wollongong climb for the last time today, being led by Mark Dadson. The chase is on behind because only 600 metres behind them is the leading pack in Category 3, and they have a number of Category 4 riders in there for company. So Dadson, Cridland, Connell, Pino, Newman, all in the mix. Kalman now off the back of that group as it's Cridland and Dadson who come to the fore, those two riders. As we see the leaders in the Category 3 race come under the polka dot banner signifying the start of the climb. They've got company. They've got company with a number of Category 4 riders in there, but I would expect those Category 4 riders to go backwards because the additional power and strength that the Category 3 riders have got should propel them up this hillside faster.
Well, let's see if Emma's prediction is right. Will the Category 4 be shown? Will Category 3 work the way up? How close can they get to the riders in front? A quick reminder, prizes in the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club are being paid out to the top 5 in each race category. There is no overall prize for the first rider across the line except in their category. At the moment in Category 1, leading that out is Mr. X100. He is continuing to set that pace that Emma said. 5 to 5.5 watts per kilo. Clearly, Emma needs to predict the lottery ticket so we can build a big studio as we make our way down here, because at the moment, she's got those numbers absolutely on the button, and the gap has gone out at 15 seconds. We're on the last lap here. That would be a turn up for the Bucks. Mr. X100 time trials away off the front, and the rest of the riders spend too long looking, not enough time chasing. They don't come back now. Category 2, Jace Krasnich is doing the same here. He's trying to go clear. He's gone through the sprint, and at the moment, he's got the gap. He's on the ascent. He is being chased by Henry Oyer. We've got Van here. We've got Gallo. We've got Graves in here. We've got Coyston in here. This chase group is packed full of very, 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 very talented riders.
Could you tell me how many varies that was?
Nearly as many as the riders.
Well, there was 18 in this group the last
there
time we were in.
No, we're not in 18 riders left in there, I'm for sure.
As we continue to look at that Category 2 race, we're jumping now into the Category 4 race because they have 900 metres of climbing to go until they see the checkered flag. And last time we were with them, it was Dadson and Cridland who had broken away, and they've now extended that lead on Tim Connell. 6 seconds now for Dadson and Cridland as they continue to tap their way on the pedals up this hillside. Category 3 on the left-hand side of your screen, well, they are sweeping in behind as they are now on the final section of the climb. Are they going to catch them? Well, only time will tell, but there is not a lot of time left, and the road is running out for Cridland and Dadson to get across the line first, but I think they are going to be first and second. But which order in that Category 4 race?
Well, I was hotly predicting that we were not going to see Category 3 get up to Category 4 as they came in. And I'm in danger of having to eat my words and not ice cream at the moment, because Category 3 are absolutely flying. Ryan Giuliano opening up a gap. It's only a second at a time at the moment from the riders behind him, but he's putting them in the red zone. You can see those red chevrons in there. Cridland and Dadson are on the climb, and Cridland at the moment 4 seconds clear. He's leading this out, and he's continuing to accelerate as we go onto that flatter section. The difference on the road is less than 100 meters, and look at this. Giuliano has now gone past Matheus Kalman. He has 5 riders left to catch. The one he wants is Cridland. He's riding now for pride. He's also riding to stay clear of the chasers behind him on the left of your screen, right-hand side of your screen. Cridland is on a mission. This is great pacing, and look at the time gap he's put into Mark Dadson. 13 seconds.
Well, whilst he's put the gap into Mark Dadson of 13 seconds in the Category 3 race, Giuliano is climbing strongly. He's now 1 second clear of Manella, 3 seconds clear of Kirchner, 4 seconds clear of Squillari. That is nothing. He's going to still have to work all the way up. As look at that. That is Monella coming on to the shot. As we head back to Cridland, he's got 300 meters to go. Very shortly, he's going to see the polka dot banner signifying the end of the climb. In fact, take a look at that. He already has. He's got 200 meters to go now, but it just gets steeper as we get to the top of the Wollongong climb. So Jonathan Cridland, he's 40 seconds now clear of Mark Dadson as he's tapped his way up the Wollongong climb very, very strongly. Take a round of applause, Jonathan Cridland. Phenomenal climbing today to ride away from Dadson in the Category 4 race. He looks up. He sees that UCI banner. Cridland is going to come across the line. Cridland takes the win on the Sunday Race Club in Qualifier 2 in Category 4. So Mark Dadson now can see the finish line. Dadson currently in second place. The winner of Category 3, the rider leading Cat 3, now coming up onto his wheel, going past him. That's Ryan Giuliano. Monella is right on his heels. Monella, the rider with the red hair. He's coming up. He's going to take the win. He's put a sprint in. So Monella takes the win in Category 3 from Ryan Giuliano, who had the lead on the climb. Kirchner's coming in with Staples for the sprint for third place, and Nick Squilari. Whoa, it is fast and furious over the line at the moment.
So that is your Category 4 and your Category 3 winners in through the finish. One of our riders who tried solo away made it, one didn't. What will happen to our solo rider in Category 1? There are riders in front that could be of benefit to him. He has gone clear. Behind him, say Safrazet and Pim Van Diemen are the riders leading the chase, with Osborne and Kaminsky and Jones all taking a turn, but their watts per kilo is not enough. They need to pick their socks up, take them beyond the UCI regulated length of halfway up your shin, boys and girls, because you need to get up that road. You need to get after Mr. X100 if you want to look in, because you cannot let a rider this talented go down the road coming towards the final climb.
Look at
this
the size
is going to
of that
be
Cat
a
1 group.
very, very tough finish.
I tell you what they are banking on. They are banking on the fact that their peak power and their 1 minute power is higher than X100. X100, we know, is a consummate time trialer. He considered a pace. But does he have the peak power that is going to be required on the Wollongong climb to stay clear of this chasing group of Category 1 riders? It is full of talent. Jacobs is here. Vujasin, Van Diemen, Talbot, Jones, Panizza is in here as well. It is littered with talent. They are not yet on the final climb of the day. They've still got to run in, and it's still some way to get there.
And sat in with them are some of our Category 2 riders who are going to benefit. Walter Clays looking like he has got this absolutely spot on. Linda Milostic is in here as well. They are jumping into the group. They are sat in with our Category 1, and on this section, it's a long, flat, fast section. This is dependent, of course, on how fast the chase goes.
Oh, look who it is. Look who it is. It's Johan Noren pushing on. He took the break. He took the break on lap 2 and he got pulled back in, but he's gone again. He's not leaving it till that final climb, Matt. He's pushed on, and he's pushed on hard.
And I've just seen a response by Mr. X100, who's clearly watching what's going on behind him. He went up to 6.5 watts per kilo there as he kicked away. Now, if Noren and Mr. X100 could get together, that is going to be to their benefit. Remember, the Category 1 riders are sweeping up the Category 2 riders as well. They're on the left-hand side of your screen. On the right-hand screen, we're with our race leader in Category 2. Moritz Ritter is the rider who is leading. He's coming over the top of part 1 of our 2-stage climb here in Wollongong in Australia, but the gap is not substantial enough to hold. I think the big group, because of the descent that comes into part 2, will have draft advantage. They will have pace advantage, and they're going to have momentum advantage, which, as we know, is key when you come onto that steep section at the base of part 2 of the Wollongong climb.
Oh, these guys aren't on the first part of the Wollongong climb at the moment. They've got X100 down the road. Johan Noren is chasing him. Noren's now put a gap in of 7 seconds on this group. Vujasin, Safrazad, Paradians, Van Diemen, all part and parcel of the chase group. Osborne is there. Osborne had a good finish last week, taking this, well, in the sprint with Vujasin. He lost the sprint by 0.06 of a second. It was so tight. It was phenomenal. But Noren does not want to leave it to a sprint. He wants to do the chasing. He wants to give himself some sliding room on the climb. The climb is coming. You can see the road going upwards ahead. X100's got 10 seconds on Noren. Noren's got 9 seconds on Panizza, who's leading the charge behind. Who is going to be first across the line at the top? Well, I reckon we've got less than 4 minutes to find out.
Well, here we go into the last run of climbing. We're on to part 1 with the Category 1 leaders here. The Category 2 leaders, they have pulled back. Moritz Ritter, they had the pace and the speed, but Ritter has been able to respond and stay with the leaders in Category 2 as we come on to the climb at the moment. And for the first time today, Phil Graves attacks off the front here. We've not seen him on the move. We've not seen him attacking. He has kept his powder dry. He's been very un-Phil Graves about his behaviour today. He has waited and waited and waited, and now he has gone. But, and it's a big but, the gap is a whole second. That's not going to be enough as a chase comes up on him.
There they come. It's Ritter and Nikito who are pushing on at the moment. They are continuing to push. Nako pushing on here. Ritter in 2, Graves in 3. Coincident comes through. So's Mendakowicz. Kayan and Van He are all in the mix. It's still anybody's game in Category 2 as they sight the polka dot banner signifying the end of the climbing segment. Once they hit that line, there's 200 meters to go. As on the left-hand side, the Category 1 race, well, that is hotting up.
It's hotting up in style because they are closing down on the back wheels of Mr. X100. Here they come. This is Savrizad in the middle of the group, but leading the chase and going over the top of Mr. X100 goes Ollie Jones. They're on to the final part of the climb. We've done part 1. We're on to part 2. Steep at the start, leveling and easing slightly in the midsection, and a steep kick to the finisher. Remember, we finish at that UCI banner at the very top, not at the polka dot banner. A little bit closer. Our Category 2, they've gone past the polka dot banner. This is for the run, for the line. Oh my goodness, it's a group sprint.
It's 5 riders side by side as they're coming up into the last 100 meters. Ritter pushing. Ritter's going to take this, I think. Moritz Ritter's going to take this from Mendakowicz, from Naito, from Graves, from Van He. It is going to be so close.
Maurice Ritter, if he is the man who got through, and I think that you were dead right there with that call, Emma, rewarded. He was the man who attacked on the first part of the climb and went clear. He got pulled back. He didn't give up. He jumped back in, used his pace to stay with them as they came in and through. And this group has come together. Now, S has made contact. Not only has he made contact, he's right with the leading group here. He's got his teammate, the momentum master himself, Pablo Bobovic, in here. We've got Jasper Paradis. We've got Michael Kaminsky in here. We've got Pim Van Diemen. We've got Jason Osborne. And lined up with Jasin. This could be a big group sprint. They've got to kick hard, and it looks like Jason Osborne is leading this out. He's just gone at 10.5 watts per kilo onto the slight leveling off here. There's a gradient drops to 5.7%. The Olympic silver medalist in rowing, the man who is a pro rider on the World Tour circuit, now chooses the moment to spring the trap and to go clear. He has got the gap. Can he hold it? Pablo Popovic is behind. So is Kaminsky. We know Kaminsky's putting down absolutely world-class power. They can see him. Can they pull him back?
Well, Osborne, Popovic, Kaminsky, Paradis, Safrazad are all in the mix. Ollie Jones is there as well. As Popovic kicks, he can see the UCI banner. Can Paradis or Kaminsky get him? But Popovic is there. I think Popovic is going to take it from Jasper Paradis, from Mikhail Kaminsky, from Safrazad, from Osborne, from Jones, from Vujasin. They never disappoint.
They certainly don't, and that was incredibly close. 3 hundredths of a second separating Pablo Popovich from Jasper Paradines. Michael Kaminsky coming in third, Sai Saprazan in fourth, and Jason Osborne in fifth. SS comes up towards the line. He's going to come across just behind them. This has been an absolute humdinger of a race here today on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. So there we go. Those are your top riders here today. Popovich taking the win for the UAE clan team. Paradines behind him. Then it's Kaminsky, Safrazad, Osborne, Jones, Vujasin Van Diemen, David Talbot rounding out the top 9 on your screens. Emma, have you got number 10?
Oh, no, I don't.
There we go. That's a really honest answer. I love it. Brutally honest at the end of the racing. What a race. I hope you've enjoyed all 4 of our race category wins. Congratulations to Pablo Popovich. He got his timing absolutely right. 0.033 of a second clear of Paradines, but a win. It's a big win. And he took that on top of Wollongong on qualifier number 2. So here on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club, as I'm about to run rapidly out of words, it's an absolute pleasure being back in the studio for the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club with Emma Martin. Emma, where can we find you on social media?
You can find me at Biking Emma on social media. Please do get in touch. Love to have a chat with you, see what you're doing, see what you're thinking of the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. You can find me on Instagram and on X.
So please do get in touch with them and do get in touch with me. It is at Matt Fitzpain. And make sure you give at MyWhoosh a follow. We have got lots more action coming up for you on MyWhoosh. Make sure you jump on board. Make sure you get out there and ride. Watch and subscribe on the YouTube channel on Twitch TV. A massive thank you to our riders for keeping us entertained. A massive thank you to you for watching. To all of the team who bring the action, the pictures, and allow us to put words to the action. But from Emma and myself and everybody, so say stay safe. We'll see you again soon.
Goodbye.